If you walked in here for the first time, or maybe you call local your church home, just know that we love you so much, and I hope you felt just a little bit of ounce of extra love when you walked into those doors today. And if you need a little bit extra love, just raise your hand and we'll come love on you. No, I'm kidding. We might. But yeah, if you need more love, just let me know. I'll give you a hug. Someone will give you a hug. That's what we're here for. We're here to do life with each other. We're here to do community with each other. And our mission here at Local is to love God and love people. So automatically, we love you. You're like, thank you, Jesus. With everything, with all my flaws and stuff, I'm glad that someone loves me. And so just know that there's nothing that you can do or have done to escape the love of God. And that's exactly what we're singing about. That's what we're going to talk about, that Jesus does love you and you're here for a reason. If we haven't met, my name is Crystal, and I get the privilege to speak today. I'm excited. So my husband Abe, he's the one normally up here, and he is with our dear friends at FRC. They're a church in the South Bay. They're killing it over there in the South Bay, and they had invited him to speak, and he was super excited to do that. They're dear friends of ours, and so that's where he's at today. They have an English and a Spanish service, so he'll be speaking there today, and we're so excited for them, and we love their pastors, and we're praying for him as he's there. And that means that I'm here with you guys, and I'm so excited. Yes, I'm very excited to be here. Again, my name is Crystal. If we haven't met, I'm going to be over there later. I want to meet you. I want to know who you are, and we just love you. So also, this Sunday is, I want to say it's like, because Abe is at FRC, it is like a girl power day. I'm up here, but also my sweet friend Yahaira will be preaching in Spanish. She's right here. I just have to, if you can be here at Spanish, come, please, because I feel like my friend Angel's whisper in her ear, and she's just so precious and so loving and so gentle, and God really does speak to her, so it's going to be very important, the message that she has here in Spanish, so I encourage you to come. I don't know Spanish, but I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be like, yes, friend, go for it, but we're really excited. We are an English and Spanish church, and we love that. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's just pray one more time, because it's just better when we pray. Lord Jesus, we just thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity that we have today. I thank you so much that we have woke up, Father, today to another beautiful day. I thank you so much for the sun. I thank you so much for our beautiful city and just the people that we get to do life with. There is no coincidence that we are here today. And I thank you so much that you are just here and you are loving us and you are showing us, what you have for us. We love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, so we've been in a series called What Would Jesus Do? And it's been an amazing a collection of messages that we've been talking about. We talked about finances. We talked about, relationships. We talked about a bunch of things. So if you maybe missed one of the messages, go to YouTube. We have them there. It was just an amazing and real group of messages that we got to talk about, and just like real life things that we normally don't really talk about. And we got biblical principles about, how to cope with these things that we do that we deal with on an everyday basis. And then today we have one more, an issue that we all go through, but we normally do not talk about it. It's kind of taboo to talk about it. We haven't, as a society, we haven't really started talking about it until maybe just recently in the coming years, where I've been hearing it a lot. And we're going to talk about mental health today. So buckle up. It's something that we go through as a community, and something that I feel is really important, that we not only physically, some of you guys are really fit physically, and some of you guys are really fit relationally, but we got to get mentally fit and mentally prepared. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So the title of my message is, I'm Doing This for Me. I am doing this for me. So, like I said, in a society, we don't really talk about mental health. We go through it a ton. And maybe some of you have already checked out. Like, maybe I'm not clinically diagnosed with anything, or maybe I've already been to therapy, I know what I'm doing, and maybe you've already checked out. Like, I'm working on it, my mental health is healthy. But we all deal with anxiety. I know I do. I deal with a lot of anxiety. I deal with fear. A lot of us deal with fear. Maybe pressures, seasonal pressures, or pressures at work, or maybe even just living up to like standards that maybe people have set for you. We all deal with those things on a daily, and those things actually add and put a weight on our mental health. So I want you to just be open. And no matter what you feel, or maybe feel like you've already, worked on your mental health, just be open today, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I have a verse in Matthew. If you guys want to write it down so you guys can read it later, or you can read it along with me. It's Matthew 7:24 through 27. And I feel like this verse really gives you a really big picture of how mental health can work in your lives, and what God is showing us. So Matthew 7:24 through 27. And let me read it to you. This is what it says. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on a rock. The rain fell and the floods came and the wind blew and beat on the house. But it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat against that house. And it fell, and great was the fall of it. Have you ever built a house, maybe like a sandcastle at the sand when you're at the beach? And it takes so much effort because you got to go get water and you have to come back to build like the perfect structure. And maybe a wave would come, or maybe like a child's foot would stomp on it and break it down. It does not last. A sandcastle does not last because it's built on a weak foundation. And it's almost like when you build a sandcastle, it's almost like it's so annoying because it takes so much time, it takes so much effort, it takes so much, like you get sand in all different places, and you're like, what is happening? And then for it to break down, it's annoying. It really is annoying. I don't like the beach anyway, so I'm I'm biased to it. I don't like the sand. But it happens. It happens when that foundation is so weak. It will knock down, and that's in a beach setting. But what's even scarier is when it happens in real life, and that has definitely happened to me most recently. And I'm going to share a little about my story. If you maybe check out my Instagram, or you follow me on Instagram, you've seen lately that physically I have been trying. I've been going to thank you. I've been going to the gym a little bit. This is not normal for me. I'm not a gym person. I'm not a runner. I'm not a cycler. Like, I don't do those things. I was telling Lauren, like, maybe 2 weeks ago, like, I've never lifted a weight before, like, ever in my life. So this is all very new to me. So if you look at my page, you're like, oh, she's a fit person. Like, she does this. She's done this for a while. That is not the case. I started this physical journey for my mental health, guys. It was like May 20. I wrote it down because I actually journaled it. May 29th, 2001. I was really going through it. I found myself in a place where I didn't know who I was. I didn't feel like I was me. And I had been through a ton of transition. We all did. 2020 was insane. We went through so much transition. And me and my husband, we went through a physical transition as well. We went through, different transitions with work and jobs and all these things. And I found myself in a place where I was extremely happy. Like, I was, doing life with people that I now call family. we were building this church. It was May 2021, so we started in June. So we were months out, and I was like, I am the happiest I've ever been, but I feel the most lost that I've ever felt in my life, which is scary to feel so happy and feel so excited about what you're doing, like the future, but not know who you are. So I remember that month of May, I was like, we were doing things, we were planning the future, doing life with amazing people, and I was so excited and so pumped. But I remember going to bed every day, like, couldn't go to bed. I was up super, super late, like, just scrolling TikTok, binge watching stuff. Like, I felt like that was my me time, and it wasn't fulfilling me. It wasn't enough. And so I remember like weeks on end in that month, I was going to bed super late. And I remember one day I woke up and I was like, it was probably like 4 or 5 in the morning. I woke up and I was like, and I just got up in my bed and I was like, things need to change. And I remember I walked to my living room and I was just sitting there praying, like, I feel lost. Like, I don't feel like I know who I am. I don't feel like I can keep going, and I need to find myself. And I remember sitting on my couch and be like, just go for a walk. So that day I went back to my room, put workout clothes, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for a walk. So I went for a walk that day. It was May 29th, 2021. And I just remember walking, like Roar Park, and just walking. I put a podcast on, the sun hit, and I was just, I was like, I'm just doing this for me. And guys, it worked. It really did work. I found myself, like, walking this park, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do it again. Like, let's just keep going. And God would speak to me on this journey, and he was, whispering things in my ear, and I was starting to find myself again and who Crystal was. And, walking turned into running. Months went by, and I was like, I would see people run, and I'm like, I want to do that. Like, I want to try that. So I did that. I started running and dying, literally dying, running, sweating, and I just started that practice, and I kept going. And what turned into finding myself turned into a passion, turned into something that I loved, and then was a catalyst to doing new things, which, I started running, and then, when you do something that you normally don't do, you're open to other things. And, my dear friend Millie is also on the same journey, and she, give it up for Millie. She was doing something that she's never done either, and it inspired me. And so I started cycling with her, and now we're on this journey that, like, thank God, like, we are doing something that we love, and we're really carving out me time. And I really want to encourage you that it needs to happen. It's so important that you guys do this for, like the title says, I'm doing this for me. And you can be doing 101 things, and it's not going to be sufficient enough if you're not taking care of yourself. So, we're gonna keep going, and I want you to take that story. I just wanted to be real and honest with you that that has happened to me, and it was just recent that we all go through these things. And I participated to get there, and I need to participate to get myself out of it. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about. I have 3 things that we can just write down that really do help you on the journey to help your mental health and to help you. And so the first one is you need to recognize. Everyone say recognize. You need to recognize. So you need to recognize where you are. And that's probably the hardest part, is to recognize exactly where you are in this journey, on this life. And so the other day I found myself, there's places where you can drive. You don't have to, like, put the address in. You kind of already know it's in you know where you're going, right? In and out, yes. Now we're all going to In and Out tonight. Thanks, Nelson. Now I want it. So you know where you're going. The other day I was going to Fashion Valley, and I had to return some shoes, and I was like, I don't even need to know, because I know where I'm going. I'm I don't even need to look it up. The other day I said MapQuest, and Abe's like, you're such a millennial. I'm like, wow. MapQuest, no one knows what that is anymore. So I was like, okay, I got the kids in the car. I was like, okay, we're going. We're going to go on this journey, and we're heading out. And so all of a sudden, like, I'm on the 5, and I'm like, the kids were fighting over something. They were doing something. I was listening to a podcast already, so already it was a lot of noise. And they started fighting, and I was like trying to get them to stop. And I was like trying to listen to my podcast and trying to get to the destination at the very same time. And it was absolutely chaotic. And I found myself missing the exit. And I was like, where am I going? I had to backtrack to where I was even going in the first place. I was like, wait, any parents, that happens constantly. You just get distracted. There's so much noise happening that you forget where you're going. And that can happen in life, not just in real life, but also like that happens in your own, it happens to you. And you have to acknowledge where you're at. Because it can get chaotic. Like, life can get so messy, and if you don't know where you're going, like, it just gets messy sometimes. And so you have to sit and ask the question. You got to recognize where you're at. So where are you going? Where are you going? You got to ask that question. And it's a really hard question to ask yourself, because sometimes we put ourselves last. Like, we don't know where we're going because there's so many other things happening. Maybe you're doing stuff for your job. Maybe you're doing stuff for your kids. You're a mom, and you're like, I got to get them all prepared, and then I leave myself for last. Like, I get the scraps. Or maybe you're, like I said, at your job, and you have so many tasks to do that you're like, I'm going to put that away, and I'm going to save that for last. And it's no wonder that also when you're on an airplane, like, they are so resilient, so they make sure that they tell you that you need to put your mask on first in order to help others. And why do they say that? Because you put yourself at the best position to help others. And so when we take care of ourselves first, we are at the best position to help others. And, we think that it's totally the opposite, though, that I'm going to help others and then somehow I'm going to be fulfilled and I'm going to help myself. No, friends, it is the opposite. If you want to help others, if you want to be a blessing to others, you got to help yourself first, and you got to recognize that you need something. You need something. And so what is that? Let's see. You need to recognize what self-care is to you. It's different for everybody. Mine, like I said, came with, with running. But maybe in the next season, it's something else. Maybe it's reading. Like, I'm claiming that, sure. What is it for you? Self-care is not selfish. Let me just say that twice. Self-care is not selfish. And that is something that society has taught us, that if you're doing if you're taking care of yourself, you are absolutely selfish, you're self-centered. That is not true. You need to take care of yourself. So what does that mean to you? It could be different. It could be, exercising every day. It could be waking up a little bit early in the quiet of your house and making your coffee without interruptions and sitting at your coffee table in silence. It could be doing a face mask. It could be, going with your friends. I know a lot of people who have to be around community in order to be fulfilled. Whatever it is, you need to figure that out, what it is for you that you need to do on a daily to get yourself on that page. And so that's physical. What do you have to do physical? And then also mentally, what are you telling yourself? What are you saying to yourself? Things happen twice, guys. They happen in your mind, and then they happen in real life. So what are you saying to yourself as well? Self-care is also stuff you do, but it's also stuff you tell yourself. What are you saying? Are you saying gentle words to yourself? Are you saying what the word says? We give you scriptures every week, and maybe even your collective leader tells you verses of the Bible, but are you really applying them to your life? Are you really recognizing that those things in the Bible, the things that Jesus says and speaks about, is literally about you? So what does your mind say? Not only do you have to work physically, but you have to train your mind to think these things. And there's a good verse in Luke. I would write it down because this is a really good verse. Luke 6:45. This is what it says. People are also like that. A good man keeps good things in his mind. In his life, he brings those good things out from there. But a bad man keeps bad things in his mind. He brings those bad thoughts out from there. When a person speaks, his words show what is really in his mind. So when you speak, you're speaking what's in your mind. What are you speaking? Are you recognizing what you have, what you're saying? And is that coming out? You know, like when your friend has like a hard time and you're so gentle with them and you're like, girl, you can do it. Like, man, you're good. Like, you got this. You're so kind. You're so gentle. You're so patient. Has that ever happened to you? Like, your friend could be doing the worst, and you're like, you got this. You can do it. You're more than capable. You're strong. You can get through this. Why don't we tell ourselves that? We are so kind and gentle to our friends, but let's be our own friend. Let's really, whatever you're saying to your friends, you need to say to yourself as well, because you are your friend, and you need to recognize that you need to be a little bit more patient with yourself. Sometimes we're so hard on ourselves, and we do need to be a little bit more patient with ourselves. So I would say be a friend to yourself. Number 2, we need to reset. We need to reset. At the Camacho house, we reset our house a lot. If you've been to our house, you're like, wait, the living room was here, but it was over there last week. Like, we literally move our house all the time. And it's usually right after Christmas or Thanksgiving. We, like, move our whole couch and furniture. And this year, like, our table was upside down, and we put things in it with the glass. Like, we're just always changing our house. We always reset it. But every time we do that, me and Abe have this thing where we like see, we're moving things around, and we're like, okay, I think we like this, but like we got to reset. So we literally walk outside, close the door, and we walk into the house like we're walking in for the very first time, and we reset our mind. And usually we're like, yeah, that works. Or like, no, that's horrible. But we always do that. And we walk out to reset like our eyes, our focus. Small changes lead to great impact. What is the small change that you need to reset in your life to lead to a great impact in your life? And sometimes we don't have, when we keep going and we don't reset like our lives, sometimes we don't have enough energy for the next thing in our life. So we're on the last page, and we're like, we forget to reset where we're going, and we're just like, we don't have any more energy to go on to what God has next. Like, you guys need to reset. We all need to reset our lives, because sometimes it takes us back to zero, and sometimes it's like, it's not fun. But it's what's needed, because, every season comes with different challenges, different ways of thinking, different things, different people. People is when you add people to the mix, it's always a little harder. Can I get an amen? No. So when you reset, you just, you go back to square one, and you're able to relearn, to redream, to rethink, and it's amazing. And, in life, like, I've found myself giving myself excuses on why I can't, like I said in point 1, why I can't recognize, why I can't reset. And I've learned that a lot of it is around excuses, right? Oops, I hit the mic with my teeth. That was fun. Yeah, I'm good. We don't need a dentist. So I found a lot of excuses, right? I give myself excuses sometimes, or be like, okay, well, I'll work out, or I'll take care of myself when I have time. Like, maybe in this season, I'm super busy. Like, I don't have enough time, so I'll work out when I have time. Like, if I just didn't work, I would be able to work out every day. Or if I if I didn't have to take care of my kids, like I would have so much time, like I would read, I would do this. Okay, but guys, 2020 hit, and we had like all the time in the world. And let me tell you, I still didn't work out. I probably gained like 15 or 20 pounds during 2020. So we had like the largest reset in our world. Like, and some of us, yes, you guys were still working at home, I get it. But we had a lot of time, and I personally, I gained weight. I didn't work out. I didn't read. I binge watched a lot of shows. I remember all the shows that I binge watched. But we had a ton of time. So no excuse is going to be like enough, because even just recently that happened, and that's still my excuses that I gave. They weren't relevant because I had a lot of time. And so I want to tell you that it is time to reset. Stop waiting for permission to like start your journey. Go, start already. It's already, you already can do it now. You can take baby steps to reset your life and to get that self-care that you need. And I want to encourage you to try new things. It's really scary to not know exactly what you need, but be available and be willing to try new things and to just do it. Like, just do it. And, you may be saying, like, I don't know what I like. I've never known what I like. I don't even know, like, who I am. Just try new things. Reset your talents, reset your skills, reset, everything that you are. Like, keep going and try new things, because when you try new things, you're opening the door to possibilities. And that's what our God is all about. He's the God of possibilities. He's the God of more than enough. He's the God of bigger. And He wants that for your life. So why are we putting limitations on ourselves when we have a big God, and He can do miracles in your life, in your in your kids? And so I want you just to be open, be available, be willing to try new things, and just try it. Try it once. If you don't like it, move on to the next. That doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing, or I give up because I don't know. No, keep trying and figure out what works for you and how you can reset. And let's go to point 3. Point number 3 is to repeat. Repeat. So I have a few of my past jobs, like I was property management. And so there's a difference, like when you rent a home and when you own a home, right? I've rented many homes as well, and you know exactly like what you can do and what you can't do, and you can paint here, but you can't paint here. And there's a big difference when you rent a home and when you own a home. When you own a home, you have constant projects. It's never enough. You're always moving on to something else, something bigger. You're painting. You're doing all these things. So when you take ownership of your life, it's a full-time job as well. You're not renting your life. You're not renting your body. It is a full-time job. So when I say repeat, I mean that it's never done. Once you find that, say you're here right now and you're like, I know exactly what I need. I know exactly how much time I need with the Lord and how much time I need to pray, how much time I need with my community, what I need mentally. Like, I know all those things. It doesn't stop there. We have to keep repeating. Once you're good with like your mental health and your physical health, we need to move on relationally. There's always something we can work on. We are going to keep working on ourselves. It doesn't, and I feel like that's cliche, right? Because like sometimes even I had found myself like years when I was younger where I was like, well, okay, well, when I get married, like I'll be at the spot, or like when I have kids, I'll be good, or when I have this certain amount of job or certain amount of income, like then God will pour down like His favor and I'll know exactly what I'm doing. and you have this mindset of like, I just need to get there and then everything will be good. Let me tell you, that is not the case at all. You can be good today. Right now, you can be good. And so I want you to just have that in your mind, when you're going out, that you need to keep moving. You need to keep going. You need to keep growing. And it says in the Bible, in Psalms 92:14, it says that, like just what I was saying, that we never peak. We never really make it. We're always constantly growing. We always constantly should be getting better. And this is what it says in Psalms 29:14. It says, they shall still bear fruit in their old age, and they shall be fresh and flourishing. So the goal isn't fast results. The goal is a healthy lifestyle. What does that mean? That means all around. That means mentally, that means spiritually, that means physically, that means, relationally. It's not about the fast results, and we're so big on fast results. Like, I want to see, myself in a week, like how to lose 10 pounds in a week. Like, we always want the fast results, but it is a healthy lifestyle. We need to be a healthy, balanced individual all around. And so that's why this verse is so important, that they shall still bear fruit in their old age, and they shall be fresh and flourishing. Sometimes we feel like we've reached an age or we've reached a season where like God's done, or maybe life's over, and I've wasted my years, my young years. I'm here to tell you that you can still keep going. There's no age limit. There's no amount of things that maybe you've done. God is still working on you. And even in this verse, it's saying that they will flourish and be fresh in their old age. So there's no age limit on what God has for you. There's no season. There's no, you still have time. You still have time. So I want you to keep in your minds this. Do this for you. Recognize, reset, and repeat. And it's not too late. It really isn't too late. Like, God still has so many things for you. So much blessing, so much love, so much peace, so much time. And better things. Definitely better things for you. I was talking to you about in May 2021. I was going through that. It was the hardest, I felt like the hardest season, because I didn't know. Up until that time, I kind of knew who I was. I kind of knew where I was going. And God, really shook me. And he was like, you really don't know who you are, and you don't really have a firm foundation. And so when I went on this journey, I really not only saw my mental health get better, my physical health got better, my circle, my community got better, my spiritual life got better with God. And I was able to walk and know who I was, why God created Crystal. And I believe he has that for you. And thinking back, when I wrote this message, I looked back. I saw that when I first went walking. And then a whole year later, May 2022, I found myself, it was maybe a few days after. It's a full circle, full year. We went to a conference. It was a leader conference, and we went with Abe, and I went with GM, and I believe Enoch was there. And we were at a conference at Zoe with Pastor Chad and Pastor Julia. And it was the end of the night, and I think Pastor Judah spoke, and it was amazing. And I remember the last song they sang was Firm Foundation. And I remember listening to that song, and that song is what this verse is all about, building your foundation on a firm foundation. And I remember texting Jen, like, we need to sing this song at church. Like, this is amazing. I remember singing it, and, like, God was really speaking to me, and I texted Jen, and Jen was like, already on it, like, we're learning it. And I was like, dope, like, we're on the same page. And that song really ministered to our church, and not knowing that, in my life, that next month would be like one of the roughest months of my life. And, we went through stuff as a church. But that song was like the pinnacle of like strength and courage. And I want you to know that God wants you to film a firm foundation in Him, in His Word. Because no matter what winds blow, and they will blow very hard. No matter what seas come, that your rock is built on a firm foundation, and it won't be able to blow away. And so today, I want to encourage you guys. You guys can go ahead and stand. As we stand, so it's okay to take time to take care of yourself. It's okay to take a moment it's not selfish. There is a God here who wants to know you. He loves you so much that He created you with all your what you think is a flaw. He created you perfectly. He shaped you. He loves you. He knows everything about you. He knows what you went through. He knows what you're going to go through. He created you perfect. And sometimes we think like, I have so much that I don't like, and I have so much things that make me who I am. Like, I don't think I'm worthy enough. Like, God knows you, and He created you so perfectly and so amazing, and He loves you so much that not only did He make you, did He form you, did He create you, that He knows you, He also sent His Son in human form to come on earth to die for you. And He came in human form to die for you so that you could live. So live. I want you to live. Live every moment. Live every second that you have. Live. Live today. Choose to live, because He died for us so we could live. And I want to encourage you guys that while we're living, while we're doing all of that, please don't get too busy. Because if you could take the chance to live in this moment, there's so many people, like this is an issue in our society. Mental health is an issue. And if you could lose your life in a second, you also could give life in a second. So I want you to never forget that your smile counts. Don't get too busy to not acknowledge somebody. Do not get too busy to smile to somebody, because yes, if you can lose your life in a minute, you can give life in a minute. And so God is telling us today that we are the light, and we need to continue to be that light. Please don't be too proud. Please don't get too busy. Please don't get too angry. But always show that light to somebody else. We need to be there to give life to others. And if you're here today and you're saying, like, I need that. I need help. I need, God is speaking to me right now. I haven't been nice to myself. Like, I don't know who I am. I need help. I want you to just lift up your hands, and we're going to go ahead and ask God to meet us where we are, and we're going to get better.